Hi there, Stan the Annuity Man, America's annuity agent, licensed in all 50 states. Glad you joined me for today's topic, which is our annuity expectations versus reality. This one's a big one. It makes a lot of sense to me. It needs to make a lot of sense to you before you make any types of decisions. But let's listen to music first now. So annuity expectations versus reality. I know there's a lot of people that are going, I don't want to buy an annuity because annuities have high fees and expenses. That's not true. Most don't have any internal fees or expenses. So that's not true. Or people say, well, I manage my investments and I got a 401k, I don't need annuities. That's fine, and that might be true. You might not need to transfer risk for contractual guarantees or things like that. But with annuities, you have to understand these are contracts. They're transfer risk contracts that primarily solve for four things. The first is principal protection. Second is income for life. Third is legacy. And the fourth one is long-term care, confinement care. That acronym is PIL. Once again, principal protection, income for life, legacy, and long-term care. So annuity expectations versus reality also comes down to how those products, annuity products, are presented and pitched during the sales process. But just understand, if it sounds too good to be true, it is every single time. So let's do annuity expectation sales pitch, and I'm going to tell you the reality. The first one that comes to mind for me is the one that surrounds that indexed annuity pitch, which is market upside with no downside, or market participation with principal protection. Well, heck, that sounds great, but it doesn't work like that, and you know that. And I know it's pitched like that, and you see ads like that, and you go to the Bad Chicken Dinner seminar, and they're pitching that, and you want it to be true. We all would want principal protection with market returns every year over and over and over, and if that was actually a true reality of that product, then that's all that Chairman Powell at the Fed at the time of this taping would buy, or Janet Yellen, or whoever, or institutions in general. That's all they would buy, because isn't that what we all want? Principal protection and market returns, 7 and 9 and 10% return. And if you see a lot of the advertisements out there, or go to the Bad Chicken Dinner seminar, or meet with someone, they'll show you back-tested numbers. Well, if you'd owned it 10 years ago, you'd have made this, and in addition, we give you an upfront bonus. Just remember, if you don't know who the sucker is at the table, as they say in Las Vegas, it's you. Don't be dumb. The expectations is market upside with no downside. The reality is 2 to 4% return on index annuities, average, blended over time. Yes, some will be higher, some will be lower, but if you get a 7% return one year on a cap and the next year is 0, what's your return? 3.5, right? It is what it is. There's no index annuity that's just going to keep getting the 7, 8, 9% year after year after year. That's not how markets work. And at the time of this taping, we're going through some choppy scenarios, going forward. I will say this too, and this isn't the second one, but I had Wade Pfau on my podcast, Fun with Annuities, recently, and he was destroying the 4% rule. That's another thing, that you just don't need to buy an annuity, just peel off 4%, and you're good to go. And with growth and all this stuff, you never have to buy a contractually guaranteed annuity for lifetime income, et cetera. He destroyed that factually. I think that's another one that people have in their heads, well, I don't need an annuity. You might not, but it's very easy to be a genius in a bull market. When markets are choppy, it's a lot harder to be the genius, be Gordon Gekko, be the master of the universe. I think the second thing, when you were talking about just expectations versus realities, and a lot of this revolves around bad sales pitches, is inflation. At the time of this taping, inflation is the gorilla in the room. It's a big darn gorilla in the room. And people don't know how to solve for it, and they're looking for products that can solve for it or may solve for it, and I'm just telling you, they don't exist. They don't exist. Just like a product that's market upside with no downside, it doesn't exist. A product for inflation that is just for inflation, it doesn't exist. However, you'll hear that it does. You'll hear annuity sales pitches that'll say, yeah, well, when the index returns, it's going to adjust for inflation. It doesn't. It does not do that, okay? Anytime you hear something that sounds too good to be true, it is every single time with no exceptions. And there's not an annuity company on the planet that's figured out how to track inflation. No one's going to be able to track inflation at the current percentages at the time of this taping. and adjust for that. You know that. Can you buy lifetime income guarantees that have increases to the income stream? Absolutely. They're called cost of living adjustment riders. COLA is the acronym, cost of living adjustment, COLA. Adjustment riders in the past used to get CPIU, Consumer Price Index of Urban Consumers, that's that index, and would increase by that amount. And at the time of this taping, that doesn't exist. You can't even buy those increases anymore. But just to understand this, annuity companies have the big buildings for a reason. Anytime you say, I need the income to increase, just visually, here's the Madonna annuity correlation. Same annuity without an increase, same annuity with an increase. That's where it starts. Typically, it's a 6 to 9 year break-even point, just kind of a ballpark on how long it takes to make up. And mathematically, a lot of times it just doesn't make sense. Will we run the quote for you? Sure, absolutely. We'll run that quote for you all day long and show you the disparity. But just remember, annuity companies don't give that away. You already own the best inflation annuity on the planet. It's called Social Security. Why? Because it's not actuary driven, it's politically driven when it comes to the increases. You just have politicians going, yep, let's just raise that sucker because we don't want those people not to vote for us. They say it like that too. So inflation's the other one that, the reality, the sales pitch is one thing, but the reality is another thing. The third and final thing, and I give this credit to my CEO, because I asked her about these, and she gave me this one. And the one that she said is there's not one product that solves for everything. A lot of times in the index annuity world, the pitch is, well, you get an upfront bonus, you get lifetime income, you get market growth with principal protection, and you get free long-term care. Okay, that sounds great. That sounds like everything we need, Martha. No, okay, it doesn't work like that. If you're going to solve for principal protection, or if you're going to solve for lifetime income, or if you're going to solve for legacy, or if you're going to solve for long-term care, solve for that one at a time, okay? There's not one size-fits-all product, period. There's not one size-fits-all drug that you take. Annuities are not multivitamins, all right? You can't just take one pill. You can't just buy one product and think you solved it. And if someone's pitching it like that, then shame on you for listening to them or at least leaning toward. It kills me all the time. I got a call the other day, and I literally took a sales pitch that a person got, and I just shot it down factually. I mean factually, not because I was angry, just factually. He's like, yeah, but it sounds really good. I'm like, well, heck, a pill that makes you skinny with six-pack abs sounds really good, but, would you buy that? Maybe, but it doesn't work. So the bottom line with, the reality of the sport with annuities is that the sales pitch typically doesn't match the reality. There should be no sales pitch when you're talking about annuities. It should all be contractual realities. And I always tell people, if you buy the dream, you're going to end up owning the contractual realities, because when you get that policy in the mail, it's a contract. And you better read it, because that's what you're going to get. If you bought the dream of hypotheticals and theoreticals and all this stuff, if you unfortunately bought anything for an upfront bonus, you need to free look that policy. Okay, there's no philanthropist at annuity companies giving money away. So you just need to be very, very careful out there. Put on your thinking cap. Don't put on your dream cap. It takes a long time to get in shape physically, okay? It's not an overnight sensation. There are no overnight sensational type products in the annuity world, even though they are presented as such. You need to look at them for what you're trying to solve for. Remember, I'm going to ask you 2 questions, or someone on my team, if you book a call with us, and that is, what do you want the money to contractually do, and when do you want those contractual guarantees to start? If you answer the first one, I want market growth, then our conversation's over. Then you don't need an annuity of any type. I know there's agents and advisors out there would disagree with that, but they know I'm right. They instinctually know I'm right. So if you want market returns, then don't buy an annuity. That's okay. That's okay. But if you want lifetime income, or if you want legacy, if you want long-term care, if you want to protect the principal, then an annuity strategy might be a contractual fit for your specific situation. So just remember, with annuity expectations versus reality, annuities are contracts. You're buying them for the contractual guarantees. You're owning an annuity of any type for what it will do, not what it might do. Do me a favor, go to my site, run quotes on my proprietary calculators, best and most simplest in the business. I mean, really, really good. Get my books for free and under no obligation. Book a call with us. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next Stan the Annuity Man YouTube video.